Welcome to this Step 3 review on the 2-day exam strategy. This video is brought to you by Roadmap to Residency. The Step 3 exam is spread across 2 separate testing days, and how you manage your energy, your breaks, and your pacing across those days matters just as much as what you know. Today we are not going to reteach medicine. We are going to show you how to attack the 2-day format, how the question stems reward the right test-taking behavior, and how to stay sharp when fatigue sets in. Make sure you are also working through your question bank and a solid review resource alongside this video, because these patterns are best learned by doing many practice questions under timed conditions. Let us get started. Here is what we are going to cover today. First, we will map out how the first day and the second day of the exam actually differ, so you can plan a strategy for each one. Second, we will talk about protecting your stamina with smart use of your break time, and how to handle the evening between the 2 days so you arrive rested. Third, we will learn to recognize the ways fatigue shows up on the second day and how to adjust your test-taking behavior to protect your score. Along the way, we will walk through several practice questions together and explain exactly why each answer choice is right or wrong. This video assumes you already have baseline knowledge from your review resources. We are here to sharpen how you take the test across 2 long days. Let us start by understanding how the 2 days differ, because they are not the same exam twice. The first day is the longer and denser of the 2. It carries the larger share of the total questions and more of the standalone multiple-choice blocks, so you should treat it as the heavier lift. Go in with a full tank and pace yourself so the volume does not wear you down before you finish. The second day is shorter, and it shifts toward applied clinical judgment, including the case simulations that ask you to manage a patient over time rather than pick a single answer. So you can expect fewer raw questions on the second day, but a different kind of thinking that draws on management and sequencing. Knowing this shape ahead of time means you can budget your energy correctly, and you will not be surprised by the change in rhythm when the second day begins. Before we get into stamina, let us talk about preparing for the 2-day format itself, because surprises on test day are what drain your energy fastest. First, know the structure cold. Walk in knowing exactly what each day holds, how many blocks you face, roughly how long each one runs, the fact that you have a little over a minute per question on average, and that the second day adds the interactive case simulations. When none of the structure surprises you, all of your energy can go into answering the questions instead of figuring out the format. Second, simulate the real days ahead of time. In the weeks before your exam, rehearse the real thing by doing full-timed blocks back-to-back in your question bank, taking your planned breaks, and practicing the case simulations so that the interface feels completely familiar. Rehearsing the endurance and the format together is what turns both testing days into something routine rather than something overwhelming. Now let us talk about stamina and how you spend your break time, because this is where a strong test taker can quietly lose points. First, guard your break minutes. Each day gives you a fixed pool of break time to use between blocks however you like, and the mistake people make is burning it all early. Take short, deliberate breaks so that you still have minutes in reserve late in the day when holding focus is hardest. Second, move, fuel, and reset. Use every break the same way. Stand up, stretch, drink some water, and eat a small snack you have already practiced with. A quick physical reset clears mental fog far better than sitting there replaying the block you just finished. Third, rehearse the full day before test day. Build your endurance by doing several timed blocks back-to-back in your question bank, taking your breaks just as you would on the real exam. If the only thing you ever practice is a single block, your first real multi-block day will wipe you out. Train the endurance the same way you train the content. Let us work through our first practice question, and this one is about pacing rather than medicine. Picture yourself partway through a multiple-choice block on the first day. You have already spent almost 3 minutes on one long vignette, you are not converging on an answer, and you still have many questions left in the block. The clock is clearly moving faster than you are. The question asks for the best test-taking move at this exact moment. Read the 4 options carefully and pick your answer. Then we will walk through the reasoning together on the next slide. Let us break this down step by step. First, spot the pattern. One question has stalled you past your time budget while many others are still waiting, and on this exam you have only a little over a minute per question on average. So every extra minute you spend here is time stolen from several questions you could actually get right. This is a pacing trap, not a knowledge problem. Second, apply the rule. When a single question stalls you past roughly 90 seconds, commit to your best guess, flag it for review, and move on. That keeps the whole block within reach and protects the easier points still ahead of you. Third, eliminate the wrong answers. Grinding on until you feel sure lets that one item swallow the entire block. Leaving it blank is risky because you might forget to come back, and there is no penalty for guessing, so you should always put something down. And speeding recklessly through the rest just trades one hard question for several careless mistakes. The correct move is to guess, flag it, and move on, then return with any leftover time. Here is our second practice question, and it is about recognizing fatigue and responding to it correctly. It is late in the second day. You notice you have started rereading the same sentence twice. You are skimming the answer choices instead of weighing them, and you just caught yourself choosing an option without even checking the last line of the stem. Your accuracy on the easy questions is quietly slipping. The question asks for the best test-taking response to this fatigue. Think about what actually protects your score when your attention is fading, and be careful of the answers that feel productive but make things worse. Pick your answer, and we will reason through it on the next slide. Let us work through this answer. First, name the fatigue for what it is. The warning signs in the stem are clear. Rereading the same sentence, skimming the answer choices, and skipping the last line of the question are all classic fatigue errors, and notice that they cost you the easy points, not the hard ones. So the fix is to correct the specific behavior that fatigue introduced, not to simply grind harder in the same broken way. Now, why does slowing down win? Slowing down just enough to reread the final line of every stem restores your accuracy exactly where fatigue is doing the most damage. Pushing faster only deepens the same errors. Starting to change earlier answers you now doubt is dangerous, because tired second-guessing tends to convert right answers into wrong ones. And skipping the long vignettes forfeits points you are perfectly capable of earning. The correct answer is to slow down slightly and reread the final line of each stem. A small, deliberate slowdown beats brute force every time. Let us talk about the evening between the two testing days, because how you spend it shapes how you perform on the second day. First, rest. Do not cram. That evening is for recovery, not for review. Cramming will not add any meaningful knowledge at that point, and it will cost you the sleep that genuinely protects your performance the next morning. Eat a normal meal, drink water, and get to bed at your usual time, and resist the strong urge to relitigate the questions you already finished, because there is nothing left to gain there. Second, set up a smooth morning. Prepare everything for the second day the night before. Lay out your identification, your snacks, and your clothes, and confirm your route and your start time. When you remove every small decision from the morning, you arrive calm and rested, with your mental energy saved for the questions instead of the logistics. A recovered brain on the second day is worth far more than one more hour of anxious review. Here is our third practice question, and it brings together everything we have said about the second day. Imagine you slept reasonably well, and you are about to begin the second day. Remember that this day is shorter than the first, and it includes the interactive case simulations that ask you to manage a patient over time rather than pick a single answer, and you have a fresh fixed pool of break time to use. The question asks how you should approach the pacing and energy strategy for this specific day. Think back to how the second day differs from the first, and choose the approach that fits its actual shape. Pick your answer, and we will reason through every option on the next slide. Let us break down this answer. First, match your plan to the day in front of you. The second day is shorter than the first, and it mixes standard questions with the interactive case simulations that reward steady, unhurried management thinking. So the right move is to pace for a shorter day and to deliberately keep some energy in reserve for those simulations, where careful sequencing and follow-up are what earn the points. Now, the key distinction between the wrong choices: treating the second day exactly like the first ignores its different format and shorter length. Rushing the early blocks so you can rest at the end invites careless errors while you are still fresh and sharp, which is backwards. And skipping your breaks to finish sooner throws away the very recovery that keeps you accurate through the end of the day. Each of those options fights the day instead of fitting it. The correct answer is to pace for a shorter day and budget your energy for the simulations. Here is a critical exam day pearl that ties our stamina and fatigue advice together, and it is the between block reset. First, close the block and then let it go. When a block ends, it is finished and already scored, so do not carry it into your break by replaying the questions you felt unsure about. That kind of rumination drains the exact mental energy you need for the block still ahead of you. Use your break to move, hydrate, and breathe, and then deliberately close the door on what you cannot change. Second, open each new block fresh every time. Begin every block as if it were the first one of the day. Reset your pacing, recommit to reading the last line of every stem, and give the new questions your full attention. Treating each block as a clean start is how you keep your accuracy steady all the way from the first block to the very last one, even as fatigue builds across 2 long days. That wraps up our review of the 2-day exam strategy for Step 3. Remember the core ideas we covered today. The first day is the longer, denser lift, while the second day is shorter and leans into applied clinical judgment and the case simulations, so plan your energy for each one. Guard your break time, use a simple reset routine of moving, hydrating, and fueling, and rehearse full multi-block days before test day so your stamina is ready. Spend the evening in between recovering rather than cramming, and set up a smooth morning the night before. And when fatigue arrives on the second day, slow down just enough to reread the last line of every stem rather than pushing harder. The best way to lock all of this in is to practice full-timed multi-block days in your question bank and read every explanation, even on the ones you got right. Visit roadmaptoresidency.com for expert tutors and residency advisors who can help you build a personalized study plan. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe so you do not miss our next board review session. Good luck on both of your exam days, and we will see you in the next video.